This is a podcast from Torfaen Voluntary Alliance. Hello, I'm Patrick Downs. Welcome to Word from the Third, where we'll be taking a look at all the big stories and news from the third sector here in Torfaen. And it's a bit of a different one today as we take a look at us, TVA, Torfaen Voluntary Alliance, and chat to the people that help you on a daily basis. And with that, let's start at the top. Anne Evans is the Strategic Executive Officer of TVA. Now, Anne, you've been with TVA for quite some time, isn't that right?
Yes, I have. I think my story is well known amongst those who know me. I came to Torfaen Voluntary Alliance way back in 2000, and I actually came as a volunteer. So I'm living proof that volunteering does work as a route to employment. I came as a volunteer because I was doing something I didn't like. I got made redundant from there anyway, and then I went and tried something else and didn't like that. So I went back to college, did my HND in computer studies, and thought, no, I've got no relevant experience. So I came to TVA and got the relevant for what I thought was experience. That was in the February. In the April, I was offered a job as administrator for the then Communities First programme. I think I've done every job in TVA since, but I'm still here and now I am where I am.
So you have worked your way from, you understand every single level
I would hope
of
so.
The organisation.
I don't do as much, I don't.
Yeah. On a day-to-day basis, how does your day pan out? What exactly do you do within TVA?
Within the organisation, that has changed. My role is the strategic arm, so I tend to have strategic meetings with people from all walks of life. It could be Welsh Government one day, it could be Nine Brown Health for the next day, it could be a combination of both, it could be a local authority, it could be working with groups on the ground, because that's where my heart lies really. With the team, we have to meet them. On the decision making process, that will sit with myself and my colleague who's the other arm of the SMT.
This is a podcast from Torfaen Voluntary Alliance. And I'm joined by Amy. What's your role within TVA?
I'm the Operational Executive Officer for Torfaen Voluntary Alliance, and I make up the senior management team with Anne Evans.
How did you become part of TVA?
I came over on a secondment opportunity from Torfaen County Borough Council. I was asked to manage the Three Counties Children's Play project that was funded by the National Lottery, and from then I suppose the opportunities came about for me to stay with Torfaen Voluntary Alliance. So I came over and I'm where I am today.
On a day-to-day basis, what is your role within TVA?
I tend to oversee the development of the operational side of TVA, so I have direct line management of Victoria, who coordinates the third sector development team. I report to the board of TVA, leading on the financial control side, and oversee the members' payroll function. And I also have representation on the TSSW network.
I've been asking a question to a few people in different organisations. If you can make one wish for your organisation, but I suppose for TVA it'd be more, what would be your wish for the sector?
For the sector, I think it would be for Welsh Government to invest in the sustainability of the third sector, giving long-term funding, and therefore acknowledging the real value that the third sector can bring.
Now, Pat Powell is in charge of health, social care and well-being for TVA. But Pat, tell us more about your story.
I first joined TVA as a Communities First Development Officer for Torfaen, St Cadoc's and Pennygarn when the project first started. I worked there at the project for approximately 2 years. Then I did 2 part-time jobs or job shares. I came down to TVA head office from Torfaen and I joined my job share partner, Alison, as health, social care and wellbeing facilitator, we called them days. And my other part-time job was as the older person's outreach worker for Torfaen, because the older person's strategy, along with monies, had just been launched. So that was approximately 15 years ago.
So it's quite a time then you've been with TVA.
I've just had my anniversary, apparently. It was pinged by one of our super duper IT devices that we've got, that I've been here now for 18 years. But it's just a little bit more than 18 years, because I did actually start in June, and I was actually employed by the United States project up at Torfaen, but only for about 3 or 4 months before the project came over to Torfaen Voluntary Alliance.
In those 18 years, how have you seen things change around Torfaen?
I think over the 18 years, I think the partnership working has improved quite a lot. And I think, without wishing to take the credit, I think a lot of that when it comes to health, social care and wellbeing is because we do have a dedicated post within Torfaen Voluntary Alliance now that is dedicated to that particular scope of work. So I find that it's quite inclusive, and I get invited to a lot of multi-agency meetings, etc., as you can well imagine, throughout Torfaen. And then later on, when we tended to go Gwent-wide with the health board going Gwent-wide, that then increased more to a Gwent and Torfaen level. And up to a point as well, I also work nationally with my counterparts throughout Wales.
Can you explain what is your role within TVA, the role title, and what do you do on a day-to-day basis?
Health, Social Care Wellbeing Coordinator is the title. The role is very varied, but to put it in a nutshell, I would say that the role is meant to be the conduit between the statutory authorities as regards local authority, health and others, and the third sector, in particular health, social care and wellbeing, but also the wider third sector.
So if people want to get hold of you and talk to you about wellbeing or any other part of your role, how can they get in touch?
The obvious one is obviously via email, which is pat@tvawales.org.uk, or if they'd like to ring me on the landline, it's 01495 365 619, or alternatively my works mobile is 07966 784922.
Pat, it's been a pleasure. Thank you for today.
Thank you.
This is a podcast from Torfaen Voluntary Alliance. Hello, I'm Patrick. I'm the communications lead here at TVA. Now, what that actually means is communications, whatever communication needs to happen. Like, for example, all the website stuff that you see on a day-to-day basis, I'll create some of that content on there. Then that content in turn will get shared across our social media. Our social media includes Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, also LinkedIn as well. So we are out there in terms of the private sector and, of course, the third sector. We deal with many different member organizations on a day-to-day basis and talk to them about what information they want us to share out. But the idea behind the podcast is just to find an extra channel of information to get our work out there, to get our information out there, and to share it across Torfaen and Wales and further afield, really, to tell people about all the work that we do here at TVA. So I've caught up with Thomas, who's our funding lead here at TVA. How long have you been here?
So I've been the funding officer at TVA for a year. I used to work for Torfaen Voluntary Alliance before as a volunteering support officer and many other different roles.
Volunteering support officer. Now, you know what that entails, but your current role is funding. Now, for people outside listening to this, how is your role funding?
So my role basically is if you are in dire need for funds to keep your organisation running or your project, start a new project, my aim is to support you in making sure that you're able to fulfill that need. So I can help you by searching for suitable funders, I can help you with applications, I can give you advice and guidance on what best route to take. So that's what I would do for.
So talk me through that process. Somebody comes in, somebody rings up, contacts us and says, I'd like help with my group. What do you do?
Obviously, the first thing we would do is check that you are a member of TVA. After that, then I would look around, get a bit more information off you about what your project would be, so I can find the most suitable funder. I'll then contact you with the details of the funder and provide support for you if you wanted to put an application in or if you wanted assistance or more advice on best way forward with it.
So if people want to contact you, if they want information about what kind of grants we have at the moment, or if they're looking to kind of get money into their community group, to their charity, how do they go about it?
So they can either contact me on 01495 736 616, or they can email thomas@tvawales.org.uk and I'll be able to help you out from there.
Thank you, Tom.
No worries.
So Thomas there helps with funding, your bids and that kind of thing. And Callum helps with volunteers, either getting them for your organisation or helping you find a volunteering opportunity. How did you get started at TVA?
So initially I started as a volunteer. I was visiting my local job centre for a little while, looking for some different opportunities, and was always open to the idea of volunteering with an organisation to gain some experience and gain some skills. So an opportunity came up with Torfaen Voluntary Alliance in early 2015. Volunteered for a couple of weeks, I think, several weeks, couple of months. Really enjoyed it, enjoyed the office environment and, working with other people and, as I said, sort of developing some skills, some office and admin type skills. So enjoyed that. An opportunity opened up then through a training provider to do an apprenticeship type programme. So I spent a year or so doing that and gaining a qualification in business and administration. And it's just kind of progressed from there, I guess. I've been with TVA for about 5 or 6 years now. More so in the last 3 or 4 years getting involved with the volunteering side of things, supporting individuals looking to volunteer and going out and visiting voluntary organisations and seeing what kind of opportunities they have available. So very much sort of just naturally progressed, I think, from when I first joined and as a volunteer myself. So that's kind of the journey.
So basically you started from the very beginning, from volunteering, and now you're helping other people into volunteering.
Yeah, and I use that. I mentioned that when chatting to volunteers. I use my experience of being a volunteer to talk to others who are interested in volunteering. I've always sort of been a big sort of advocate, I think, for volunteering and what it can give you as an individual, especially for young people. I think it's difficult for young people at the moment to find employment, and there's an issue around that.
So if somebody walks through our door or rings up or emails us and they say, I'd like to volunteer, what do you do? What's the first steps in that?
Initially just finding out what their skills are, what their interests are, if there's any skills that they'd like to take into a voluntary position. I mean, I meet with all kinds of different individuals who are looking to volunteer for different reasons. It may be that an older person who's got a bit of free time, perhaps recently retired, and they're just doing it to get out about in the community, and as I say, they've got some free time. For others, it may be that they're looking to gain some knowledge and further their career prospects and that kind of thing, and that's why they're looking to volunteer. Firstly identifying if there's any skills, why they're looking to volunteer, and what they're looking to get out of a volunteering role.
So if people want to get in touch with you, if they want to volunteer, or if there's an organisation that needs any help with volunteering in general, how do people get in touch with you?
So first point of contact would be with myself, so they can send me an email on callum@tvawales.org.uk, give us a call on 01495 742420. I'd also encourage organisations who are looking to bring volunteers in and those that are interested in volunteering to look at the Volunteering Wales website in Torfaen, in which you can search for various different opportunities in your area, and as I said, organisations can create their opportunities to recruit new volunteers through the system as well.
Lastly, but not means least, is Victoria Croker, who's the Third Sector Development Coordinator. But what exactly does that mean?
I guess my role entails supporting the team and coordinating activities that happen, different services that we provide, different events that happen. Often I'm the soundboard for the team, where we discuss different ideas and put them into plans. So that's a big part of my role, where we're looking at the logistic side of things and how we can actually benefit the communities that we're working with. And also the network between many of our partners. I deal a lot with community councillors and the local authority reps within different forums and networks. So I attend a lot of those meetings to know what exactly is happening within the borough and regionally as well with our Third Sector Support Wales networks. As regards to supporting members, I'm often the go-to person for governance, so supporting with different constitutions and setting up or trying trying to resolve any governance issues within their boards. So I deal a lot with committee members, and also I sit on part of the panel, get involved with different aspects of the team's roles as well. So whether that be volunteering, support wherever I can. And lastly, really, I also look at ways that we can develop the business. So looking at different ways, different opportunities for us to get involved with, and making sure that we're present and active at all times.
And don't forget, if you want to contact TVA, Torfaen Voluntary Alliance, for anything regarding the third sector here in Torfaen, get in touch regarding funding, volunteering, any kind of support or governance. info@tvawales.org.uk. You can also find us on social media, on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter @TVA Wales, or of course on the website. It's all there at tvawales.org.uk. This podcast is produced by TVA, Torfaen Voluntary Alliance.